fighters that just command attention, even from the most drunk, rowdy, testosterone-fueled crowd members as they begin their walkout. Izzy, Obs, Mike Perry that time. Did he ask for like the Halo theme tune and he got Halo by Beyonce? Now much to say about the product goddess. Go ahead and let him decide about me. Darren Till, Taito Avasa, Chris Barnett. State of mind that I've acquired. No question my method can't check on me. That's just the hatred of fuel the fire. Got chillin' no kind. That's just the way we define it. Chase after mine, yeah. Diego Sanchez, Brian Ortega, that, you know, when the second time he fought for the title, when he was wearing those purge masks. Give me my space, watch me in line, part in the tone, yeah. While others might rely on music, choreographed moves, excessive, like, roaring, some manage the same effect with presence alone. Jiri Prochazka is one such some. He's one of them. Picture this. I mean, you don't have to. I'll literally put it here. Picture this anyway. Imagination is fundamental. A 6'4", broad silhouette of a man, made even more imposing with samurai style top knot, a chaotic, wild look in the eyes and structured, jerking movements that seem like fluid between and continuously just like speeding up as the walk continues. Go and get your attention. But of course that's not why he does it. Jiri uses this time to like warm up, to get into that flow state so that he's ready to unleash the second that the bell rings. And boy, does he unleash. Jiri is awkward, unpredictable, explosive. His movement is dangerous, his passion undeniable. His attacks come out of nowhere and he never slows down. He looks to rule the space in the cage, has undeniable punching power, and if it matters, and to some it does, he'll likely have the crowd on his side this weekend due to his exciting title run through Ryzen. But he's not infallible. He opens up a lot, gets hit, gets rocked, he's reckless. It seems to work for him so far. He usually rallies, pulls it back, and hasn't lost a fight since 2016. But when you're fighting someone in Glover Teixeira with so much experience, every mistake you make is an opportunity that's likely to be capitalized on. Especially when that someone is a remarkable human with an incredible story who also hasn't lost a fight in many years. However, despite what people who only pay attention to UFC might think, with this only being Jiri's third fight with the organisation, the professional MMA experience isn't that vastly different. Yes, Glover Teixeira has been loyal to the UFC for 22 fights, but his overall record is 33-7, so 40 professional fights in total. Maths. You didn't come here for the maths, but you're gonna leave with some learnings. Jiri has moved around a little bit, but his professional record is 28-3-1. How many is that? Go on, you can do it. 32. Yes. And if you look at frequency, Glover has had 42 years on this damn planet to rack up that score. Jiri is only 29. He's just a baby. What we can say for sure is that what Jiri is doing in the UFC is pretty special. Like, fighting for the title on your third fight is largely unheard of. Yeah, Silva did it in one, but that is Anderson fucking Silva. It usually takes a hell of a lot longer than that. And Jiri is under no illusion as to where his weaknesses lie. He was taken down easily by Reyes, and even before Glover fought Yan, he was working on improving his wrestling to come with a stronger game, no matter which man he ended up facing. He's been working with Henry Cejudo, saying that he needs to work on his ground game, on his mistakes, because Yan and Glover are both so great on the ground, so great in wrestling. We haven't really seen this progress be tested yet, but we fucking will against Glover Teixeira. Despite regularly being referred to as like a wild man. I think Bisping called him a psycho. Jiri has a really strong connection to the traditional roots of martial arts. You know, respect, honour, discipline, those crazy concepts. His whole life is fighting. He is consumed by it. He believes it saved him from a much darker path, and it is so much more to him than simply putting in the time necessary to reach the heights of the sport. His entire identity is intrinsically linked with the teachings of Miyamoto Musashi and the Book of Five Rings. This is a text from around 1645 that guides its readers as to how to achieve mastery. Now, Musashi was a swordsman, but the content is about martial arts in general, and many people from many different disciplines, but namely like the world of business, have interpreted it and learned from it in their own way. And you can too. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Like butter, like butter. So this idea of achieving total mastery of his craft is what Jiri is obsessed with. He sees it as an opportunity to free himself from ego, property, people, and all those empty things. Rude Jiri. He said for him the way to be a true master is to show that he rules his body, he rules his mind, he rules his emotions. And if you want to be a true master in anything that you set your damn mind to, here's the Cliff's Notes version. I don't know what that is because I'm English, but I believe I used the term correctly, of the Book of Five Rings. First of the five is the Book of Earth, and as the name suggests, we're kind of setting like the foundation for the rest of the learnings and, you know, the way of the samurai in general. The book teaches us that whatever your purpose, if you're going to master it, then training and development need to be prioritized above all else. All else. All else. Don't, you know, think about having a social life. Don't think about family. Don't think about cheesecake unless your purpose is cheesecake, and then congratulations, you have won already. So we're already making massive sacrifices, but it's important to know at this point, however many minutes in that we are, mastery is the extreme. Like, it's very much the top of the charts, and some people want it enough to give up everything else. But you can have balance. You can take learnings from this, or you could just watch this and go, well, that's fucking interesting, but I like to go to the pub. It doesn't make you any less of a badass if you just want to be really good at something, but also enjoy your life. But if you are fixated on being the best in the world at your craft, Musashi teaches us that we need to fully immerse ourselves in it. Get right in it. Cover yourself over like your craft is a blanket and you're a taquito. You need to cut away all distractions, and you need to look for learnings outside of the obvious. Just as we've spoken about before, probably when we were talking about Michelle Pereira and using dance to enhance your combat skills. Yes, you need to practice the thing that you want to be good at. That is important. But you can always get skills, knowledge from other disciplines that will boost your performance in your chosen craft. And I'll link that video for you on the dance side of things because I'm so good to you. For Jiri, one example of how he's been doing this is he got his fucking degree at age 28 while also competing in the UFC. He's not narrow-mindedly focused on simply like running drills and getting reps in. He understands how external learning aids his purpose and improves his martial arts. Even subjects that you can't even 6 degrees of separation it. 6? 7 degrees? I don't know why I'm looking at you. You ain't gonna help me. The second book, The Book of Water, teaches us about the intrinsic weaving of spirituality and strategy. This is all about how to kind of be in control of your temperament, remain calm in the midst of battle. Jiri uses meditation to master his mind and control the nerves he felt early on in his career. He used to feel as though he was drowning as he stepped out to face his opponent. Then one day he said, I don't need this nervous mind. It doesn't serve me. And he left it behind. Musashi teaches that if you can achieve a perfectly balanced spirit, you will have a perfectly balanced presence that neither creates weakness nor reveals it to your enemy. Now, I don't really have any problem revealing weakness, but I also don't really have any enemies either. I don't think. I kind of wish I did. But that aside, I could really do with applying myself to meditation more. To not simply control my temperament, although that does sound pretty tempting, but to just acknowledge my emotions, gain greater understanding of them, maybe not break down into hysterical blackout rage because I dropped a broccoli. True story. Those little fuckers just having a bad day. A lot of fighters talk about relying on meditation to navigate the emotional roller coaster that is professional fighting. But if you have any tips for me on meditation, how you manage to really kind of crack it, then please drop them in the comments, because I have not mastered that. Back to Jiri. He said that when you're a master, you destroy the ego. When you destroy the ego, there is no you, there is no me, there is only the present moment. There is just being and doing, there is nothing else. And he achieves this through meditation, and he sees it as like serving this big, almost like societal purpose. He wants to encourage others to do the same, to readjust their brain TV sets. And he thinks that that will like change society as a whole for the better. And he thinks that he has to become the greatest fighter in the world to then use his influence in this way, to raise consciousness, to make people behave better. Not make them, encourage them to. Let them see the light. He says through meditation and his pursuit of mastery, he's achieved states of full bliss, love towards everything, and being in complete harmony, you know, your internal, external worlds. And with that comes this clear understanding that there's a better way for us all. Third book is the Book of Fire. I think this one is my favourite. You know when Jiri like grabs his own fist? That's him lighting his fire, bringing out the beast, signalling to mind, body, spirit that it's go time. Having a physical like totem, you know, like in Inception, can be a really powerful trigger to get your game face on, whatever that means to you. And a lot of us do something similar without necessarily thinking about it. You know, you put your lucky pants on, you get your nails done, you wear your freakum dress. It's a physical action that makes like the confidence come out, that starts your transition into the persona that you need in that moment. Nobody should be sleeping on the persona that Jiri brings out with just that simple gesture. The Book of Fire also teaches us that you need to train for your purpose as if everything was on the line at all times. As if every practice was the real thing. I bet Jiri doesn't go in for Max's idea that hard sparring is an antiquated form of training. I bet he goes hard, loves. I bet he goes hard. In fact, Jiri says that he doesn't get everything he needs in terms of development from training alone. He's the type of fighter that really learns the most when in that dangerous real fight scenario. He needs the danger, the pressure, the guy trying to take everything from him. That's where the growth comes from, and that fits with Musashi's mastery rule. only train if you're going to compete. Don't do it for ego, for like superficial muscles and that, or to impress others. Do it because the only thing that matters to you is mastery. For you, that could mean like just adding elements of go big or go home into your learning and development time. How can you make the action hold so much weight, so much meaning, be as important as that end result? Think to yourself, as you're training, as you're working towards mastery, am I playing this safe? The penultimate book is the Book of Wind. This one is about actively seeking out as much knowledge, understanding, expertise, learnings, skills from as broad a number of disciplines and as many different masters as possible. We talked about this in the Cheeto Vera video, which I'll link for you on the end screen. And it's something that a lot of fighters seek to do, to sharpen their skill sets by learning from other fighters, other coaches. But Jiri goes way beyond that. He learns from other people for sure, such as Henry Cejudo in wrestling, but he is learning from everywhere. And I mean everywhere, including nature. He likes to hit trees. I don't know what they did to him, but he takes it all out on those old oaks. This is just one example, and I obviously chose it because it's entertaining and unusual and a bit like, oh, what's he like? But he'll literally just hit a tree 500 times in a row. He says it's good for his body, and if he trains this technique on a tree, then a soft little man bag of flesh ain't gonna do shit. I guess this links with the idea of playing it safe again, but when you're like focused on your own development, are you only doing bare minimum? Could you push yourself harder in practice so that when it comes to your own battle, nothing phases you, nothing's gonna throw you off, nothing is going to be a challenge because you've already challenged yourself?
Thinking, need a light for the ideas. I'm in a splash zone with the brain waves. I shoot for stars up in my aim is straight. I lay in the sand line in the Palisades. I'm Alec Baldwin with the angry face. I'm Christian Bale with the black on black. Never trust these thoughts, I'd rather save the day. But if your man is a problem, then we can change the pace. Mom's is worried, I need to change my ways. I maybe cop the crib under the redwoods. Rake the leaves up from the money trees. Plant the seeds front and behind the scenes. I painted the dream how I live it. When smart and beware they venom. I swear that I'm sick, I've got issues. Stick with the bars, I've been privileged. Bent off a sips of elixir. Bankroll need them commas and digits. My mannered, I'm honest intended. Lay low, not too much for attention. But been had it poppin', I mentioned. This business life, I'm offended. It's cool, yeah, I get it though. That's about how they feel, that's my mood. My lap in the trailer since looking vibrant. They pilot they know flash shot it. Not much to say about the product goddess. Go ahead and let them decide about me. State of mind that I've acquired. No question, my method can't check on me. That's just the hatred to fuel the fire. Got chillin', no kind. That's just the way we define it. Chase after mine, yeah. Give me my space, watch me in line. Pardon the tone, yeah. That's just the way. Try not to drown, get with the sound, yeah. Catch on the way, try not to drown, yeah. Yeah, this life is sweet, my mood is sour. Fuck what you think you could get a rose and sniff. I'm woke and slit, they really fake, so switch the switch, excuse all the temperament. You could catch me with a riding venom, it's not a phantom, she ride it tandem. And I'm the shit, I'm sore, but the flow go tantrum. No messing with the kid, yeah, I'm on to something. Got no kind of chill, lately I don't even build. I mean for real, they know I got skill. I do not have time to kill. The more money I reel in, the more that they feel me is why, but the way that they build this, the reason I fear, spilling my feels, but so what I'm raking that skrill. Keeping it trill, it's all for the moment I check off the list of these thrills. I'm trying to see Europe, dark hip with the kid. It's lit if you riding the wheels, pivot, looking at a grimace. That's just how I'm living, put my life on the sentence. Murdering the beat to giving me your life sentence. Only Lord knows what I'm thinking for the minute, so I'm asking for repentance. If the cop of me appended.
So despite all of that, all that tree murder, Jiří Procházka is not out to hurt people. He's just out to master his craft. Just so happens that his craft involves hurting people. He calls his body the perfect weapon, and that weapon needs to be tested against other human flesh weapons. And with all these other external opportunities for learning, it is no wonder that Jiri doesn't take a break from training. The man is relentless. He says if you want to show something crazy, something new, that's the way you gotta train. So for you, be open to learning something from every single person you meet, situation you find yourself in. Don't waste a damn minute of experience, because wisdom is there for you to gorge yourself on, but you just need to open the trapdoor to your brain and let it ooze on in there. Finally, last book, circling back round to ego, we're talking about the Book of Void, Menacing. This one is super important, but also super short and sweet, so listen up. Ego and perception get in the way of understanding. You are never going to see something for what it is, because you will only ever see it for what it is to you. See the world through a lens of our own prejudices, experiences, interpretations. So we don't see it at all. We all need to be constantly seeking out new perspectives so that we can kind of clear away these preformed filters and see the world from all points of view. Remove ego. Learn about someone else for a goddamn change. Ask questions, seek out unique points of view, seek out conflicting points of view, and treat them like Pokemon. Gotta catch them all. Come on, lads. This constant discovery is why Jiri is always evolving as a fighter. His style changes pretty much every single fight. But he ain't the only one evolving. Enter the oldest first-time champion in UFC history, Glover motherfucking Teixeira. Glover is redefining what it means to be in your prime. If we're going by the old definition, then Glover was in his prime when he first fought John Jones for the title, and he lost. And he was way past prime when he finally got his hands on the belt. But he put in the blood, sweat and tears. In his mind, he was always champion. It was just about building out those abilities to meet the mindset. And of course, the Brazilian shift in mindset and late career surge make for an incredible story. During a 3-fight losing streak from 2016 to 2018, many said the guy was done, laughing out the other sides of their faces now. In his post-victory remarks, he said, "You've got to evolve. If it's working, keep going. But at my age, I see what can help me. I continually ask, what can I do to be better?" And to defend the title, he'll have to keep that mentality. But he also acknowledges that one day the belt will be gone, and it doesn't matter in the fucking slightest. It doesn't take away from what he's done. It doesn't dilute the amazingness of his life. You can't attach your identity or your happiness to a temporary high. It's just a fucking belt. That's a bit of a contrast, isn't it? For Jiri, mastery is everything. For Glover, his life is rich with accomplishments and joy and things that Musashi would describe as distractions, and the belt is just a small part of that. On Saturday night, we'll find out what this means for the light heavyweight rankings, and the world of MMA seems to be pretty much split down the middle. Rakic, Santos, Hooker, Blades and Fremd have all said that they think that Glover will use his experience and fight IQ to beat Jiri, whereas Hermansen, Battle, Dorcas, Erosa all think that Yuri's awkwardness makes him far too difficult to prepare for, and he'll be the champ come the end of Saturday night. What the hell do you think though? That's what really matters. Drop your predictions in the comments. Make sure to check out those other videos that I mentioned that will be linked for you in just a moment. Mere moments. Subscribe, like, follow me on Insta. So demanding, aren't I? You love it.